back to Lloyd and JD, the best fucking podcast in the world. I'm Lloyd.
I'm JD.
What's up?
Not too much, man. Just
Barely made it here.
shoveling snow and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess we've been lucky up to this point, and then now it's winter.
Yeah, I like this.
I guess just in time for, Christmas season and Christmas shopping. And, I mean, we had basically dirt and dead grass, and now it's, a foot and a half of snow. So it's nice. It looks nice.
It'll melt.
It will melt eventually, and
Be even worse. It's a bad one because everything melted and turned to ice underneath. So now the snow lays on ice and there's crashes everywhere and the roads are shit.
right. I always find that with this city
Getting out of my house.
is that snowfalls always mess people up. The initial snowfalls, it just people forget how to drive.
Well, it depends when it snows too. Like we just had a snowfall and then a slow melt. And then right before the slow melt actually finished and all the roads were still wet, still had patches of ice, it then froze again and snowed on top.
Yeah.
Which typically causes the worst ice.
Right.
When I was doing snow removal, you go downtown, when that would happen, you'd get a thick layer of ice where everyone had walked the day before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're just getting it's just laying on top of ice.
Yeah.
So it's just
you guys would just deal with that with what? Snow blower and
if it's this warm, ice remover will just eat away anything below like minus 21.
Yeah.
You throw down your salt ice and it will work quite good.
Yeah.
Well, you have to buy special types of ice removal if you're going past like minus 25.
Right.
Minus 30. I notice people putting that shit down when it's like minus 30 and it's just wasting your money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just going to sit there. When it warms up, it might, take a bit
chemical
of it away.
reaction has to
Yeah.
take place in like a
It
warm
can get too
temperature.
cold, right? I mean,
So
I think
yeah,
that was,
you have to buy special stuff and make sure that it's,
yeah. I think that was high school science class about freezing and ice.
But
and
typically
ice
what we
baths.
do if it's too cold, we'll have a guy have a big ice. The ones
Chipper.
we use are like this thick and it's just a blade, like they're sharp. And we get it under. It's really hard work. And then he'll just go in front of you, like big strides all the way across the pavement. And you just have a blower and you just blow everything he gets up away.
I think,
You get 90% of it that way.
it's a pretty physical job. I mean, when this type of season happens, a lot of people end up in hospital with heart attacks because they go to shovel their own driveway.
It's
just their own driveway.
It's demoralizing too. And the way people treat you, like if you're watching the show and you have snow removal guys, don't treat them like shit. I did the job for 4 or 5 years and rarely did I ever get not treated like shit, which is sad because I'm like, it's that bad.
Yeah.
Where like most people, like they turn your nose up at you like, oh, you've missed this, you've done, like, it's like, I'm getting rid of like 2 foot of snow on your house on Christmas Eve. Go fuck yourself.
Well,
I got my boss called me once on Christmas Eve. I got a call. I did the front doorstep of someone's house about 9 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve. I was working and the fucking, they had glass walls, or a richer home, nice big glass walls, like right in front of their living room, and they were all there opening presents. And I waved like hi, and I kept going. He called my boss and complained because I looked through the window and said hello. It's not like I looked through the window, like I'm on his front porch, massive window.
Yeah.
They're all opening presents right there at a big tree, and they're all looking at me, and I was just like hi, and just kept doing my work.
Right.
He complained about me.
See,
Christmas Eve. No, like, cup of cocoa or, like, you want a cup of tea, mate? Like, Merry Christmas. No, none of that.
Yeah.
He fucking called my boss, and I got a bollocking because he made it sound like how he made it sound to my boss was like, I was
peering
peeping
in the window.
I was peeping Tomming.
Yeah.
Like, his front door's made of glass, you cunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, at that point, really, your Christmas Eve, you're out there, he's enjoying time with his family.
Fuck you, I could have saved this for you. You can do this on Christmas Day, you cunt.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other part of it is that, he should have the realization that, you've got a family as well. And instead of spending time with
That was
them,
my baby's first Christmas.
Yeah. Instead of spending time with them like he is now with his family, you don't have that opportunities because you're cleaning his
and
walk.
because I'm a fucking snow removal and I'm paid bare minimum, I don't have all those presents that
And
they're opening as well.
You could have done a lot worse. You just politely waved and you were going and doing your business. You could have just eyeballed him the whole time, just shoveled along, just kept on
The only
staring.
reason I waved was how awkward it was.
Yeah.
It was like a family fucking reunion in front of my face. And there's only a bit of glass between you. I could hear them all like opening presents and that. I'm just kind of looking down, shoveling. I looked up. They all caught my eye. I'm just like, hi. Kept going. It wasn't like, hi. Like, I wasn't creeping. I was awkward. I was like, hi, I'm going to carry on. No, he complained. He took the time out of his fucking Christmas Eve family fucking reunion to call my boss and complain.
Yeah. That guy's probably just a miserable asshole.
But it's not just him. Like, I get it all the time. Like, one of the most common ones was you'd be doing the driveway, and we blow. So we'll blow up the right, and then we'll blow the door and blow around, so we don't nail the house. And he'll come out and bitch that there's like a little inch of snow in the corner.
Right.
It's like, what?
Yeah. Well,
you realize there was a foot here, right? Like, you
and
realize
I mean, anybody that
50
shovels their own walks knows that, at times like today, right? I mean, there was a big snowfall. I didn't realize it. My wife came home last night. She drove the car over the driveway, so there's tire lines, right? Those things are a bitch to get up.
And we have to get them all. And like, they don't realize, like, they think that people just come and like do your driveway. They've got like 105 driveways each. Yeah. The routes. Yeah. Like, I used to polish off like 60, 70 driveways alone. Yeah. And that's like condominiums, like staircases, like fucking carports where the stairs go down and the snow blows all and you got to go up with it because you can't, they don't want it down in the carport. We do it all. So, and like, people are just brutal. Yeah. They expect you to be better at your job and it done quicker, and you should be at my house first. It's like, what?
Well, and the other part of it too is when you have a major snow event. I mean, I've done it too. I've gone out. I've gone out. I've shoveled the driveway. I've left for the day, and I've come back, and there's twice as much snow as when I left. Days like that,
those snow rule guys, they're doing double routes. Yeah. So they do their route, and then they go again. Yeah. Days like that, I'm out till like 9, 10 o'clock, and I start at 4 a.m. Yeah. So you can picture what a long shift that is.
Yeah, and it's...
like, we get days off because it don't snow all year, but those days, like, and it's always near Christmas, where you get like 4 days of just continuous snow. Yeah. We're out non-stop from 4 a.m. till like 9 p.m. and then back again.
I imagine those days, I imagine you have to break for food for a few minutes here and there, but there's probably not a lot of opportunity to sit down and rest. But I imagine like a hot cup of coffee and, just sitting for 5 minutes is probably the best thing in the world after, shoveling snow for 8 hours.
The beginning of the day is fine. We have lunch like normal because we start at 4 a.m. So as soon as we get like to 12 or like 11ish, we eat a hot meal. But that's the only meal we'll eat because after that, it's demoralizing. It just keeps snowing and you just want to go home. So you don't want to stop. And by the end of the night, you feel sick, you know what I mean? And then you got to do it the next day. But we have the one good meal in the afternoon, typically at the job.
I bet you that meal tastes extra good, though.
Yeah, kind of bittersweet, really. You don't have the money to buy the fucking thing and it's a bittersweet job because, we work like 14 hours when it's fucking snowed, but then you get weeks with no snow. Right. And most guys are on like low salary, like real low salary, like $1,400 a month. Yeah. So,
see, and that's not enough. That's not enough. No,
but then they argue you can go get other jobs, but you never know when it's going to snow.
But you can't in a way because you're expected to drop everything the moment that it
That's
snows.
Almost more money than you'd get if you're hourly, though. Yeah. There's guys that are paid hourly for snow, and I feel for those guys because... great, 14 hours is great, but for 3 days, 14 hours ain't great. Yeah. I need, I work like 10, 11 hours a week. Yeah. To make enough money.
I imagine the hourly guys can easily say no, though. It's like, well, I work today, sorry,
Yeah, but you don't want to because you just sat down doing fuck all for 3 weeks. So, I don't know. It's a horrible...
I'm assuming that they do have another job at that point.
Yeah, you'd assume. It's a horrible job. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, no, I feel for people that
it's mentally hard more than it is physically. Like, if you're physically strong, it's fine. You get used to it.
Yeah. The only person making the money is the guy that owns the company.
Yeah. And even him, it's tighter than summer. But, yeah, he's making decent money because, like, some of those, like, condominium contracts will pay 10 grand a month. And that's whether you come or not. So, the boys might be there for a week. Tops out of a month, you just got 10 grand. Yeah. How much gas did you really use? You know what I mean? Like, and then they make it seem like they're hurting. Like, fuck off, mate. Yeah. So, the guys that are doing it make a lot of money. Yeah. So it's big condominiums that get you the money.
Right. Or commercial, I imagine. Commercial snow removal.
Doing lots. Privatized houses suck. Yeah. Because, you're probably making like $50-$60 a house, maybe $100 if they're a big house. Like, if it's just a small driveway, you can't charge $100.
Right.
And you got to do tons of them, so it's a lot of driving around, and they're never all together. So
well, and then you've got to typically drive in crappy conditions in the city when the roads close down
with a trailer and
I can't even imagine. There's probably more time spent in traffic.
Oh yeah, we've been like hit. Like, while we're on our way to a job and they hit the brush. Yeah. And they broke the brush. So now you're like middle of a day, snow up to here. Yeah, you're bitching about your Range Rover, but you're the guy that hit us. And now I'm going to be working till 10 o'clock tonight now because I'm shoveling. Yeah. Because if you don't do the job, you're fired.
Yeah.
There's been years where I remember there was such a massive snowfall. It was like 3 feet. Some places the drifts were like up to my chest. It was the worst snowfall I've ever been in here. And I remember jobs were getting dropped like that. Our company took up like 50 jobs just in a day. Yeah. I worked like 17 hours. Yeah. I was like shaking at the end of it, like bobcatting in the middle of the night. I worked from like 4 a.m. until like 4 a.m. Yeah. I was like just bobcatting. It was crazy.
I remember once
guys were just calling in like
when you were still working at the tattoo studio that you got called out and you had to do it, and it was like ice on a lot because the snow had melted in and iced over, and you had to remove it, and you were chipping that for like who knows how long. Yeah, I mean, just brutal. And I mean, it was just like drop of a hat.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we get calls like where we have to go out into the middle of nowhere, just out west, and there's guys with like lots that they forgot that it snows and they didn't have a snow removal company yet, and it's like 4 snowfalls worth.
Right.
And it's like a driveway, like you're talking like a mile driveway, like those driveways that lead you up to someone's house. Yeah. And you're like trying to hit that with a brush, and a brush only works when it's just snowed. Yeah. Like if you've got, 3 foot of snow, that brush is going to take, you got to lift it, and those things are heavy. So you're lifting, because if you bog it out, you break it. Yeah. And if you break it, you're fucked, now you're shoveling. So you're lifting, and then you got to like get the top part of snow, then go back and get the bottom part of snow, and then you got to hit it like 3 times to clean it, just to get it down to the floor. And that's like 5 foot square foot. Like you go small, right? So yeah, it's ridiculous. By the end, you're pushing piles of snow with this brush that you just are impossible to push. Yeah. It's a horrible job. Yeah. Some days it's mentally demoralizing. You just like, it's a more of a mental game. The guys that do it every year, day in, day out, they have strong heads. Yeah. It's hard. You're like fighting the weather. It's stupid. Yeah. Like imagine a job that fought rain. It's fucking stupid, man. Like some days, like I'd be downtown shoveling, and you look behind you, and it's fucking just as bad as it was when you showed up. And you're like, what? You just throw your shovel sometimes. Like I've like sat down and just been like, why? Yeah. Like why? It's demoralizing. You're like, I just spent an hour doing that. I'm gonna have to do it again in a minute. Like it's stupid. Yeah. But that's what they pay for. They pay for someone to walk around all day and fucking that, and people don't get it. They don't. Yeah. It doesn't. Oh, this sidewalk's nice. They've always got something to bitch about. Oh, it's ice there, or there's a footprint there, or But they don't think. They're like, oh, it's been snowing all day. This poor fucker has probably removed snow from the same place 3 fucking times today. Yeah. They don't think about that. Like, imagine your work. Like, imagine digging a hole and someone's behind you just filling it in. And then, there you go.
And that's exactly what it is, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's days where and then people wonder why they're so angry. Like, because we're fucking pissed.
Yeah. And it's cold. I mean, it's freezing cold.
Yeah, when you're at home under a blanket drinking warm cocoa, watching fucking The Grinch.
Opening your Christmas presents, looking out the weather. It's like, I'm going to mess that guy's day up because obviously he's not miserable enough at
ice hanging off my beards and wind hitting me and salt's all ruining my boots and my clothes and they're falling apart. That's horrible. Yeah. You smell like diesel gas and fucking, because you're just filling up blowers all day. You just stink of gas and it's horrible. You rub salt around your nose, like that's horrible. Yeah. You get salt and gas on your hands and you'll be rubbing your nose all day and it just burns. Like you just, all of us just have like bright red noses. Yeah. It's horrible. It's one of the worst jobs ever. Yeah. There's no good way to do snow removal. People at home are watching this, like, just wear the right clothes. Like, these guys spend good money on our clothes. When you've worked in snow for like 14 hours, you're wet. Yeah. You can wear, even if you're wearing waterproofs to the point to where it literally runs off you like a duckbill, you sweat underneath. Yeah. So it's this horrible game of like when to take your coat off because you're going to sweat. And when sweat's your fucking enemy, because then sweat will freeze, and then you're fucking, then you're cold at your core, and then getting warm is
almost impossible.
So it's a horrible. You can't buy the right stuff. Yeah. You just have to like read. Once you've done it for a few years, you kind of know when to wear.
It's either that, or you see a bunch of naked snow removal guys on the side, all huddled up underneath like an emergency.
I wear
blanket.
Like dungarees because I can take my coat off and still have a chest, thermal chest piece, and like I can work, but you're still sweating. By 9, and I've been up since 4, I'm still wet. Yeah. I've the best boots in the world, and you still got wet socks. Yeah. It just eats away at your boots. It just eats away at your clothing. Like I have stuff that goes not waterproof after 1 season. Yeah. Just the salt eating away at all the waterproof material, and like by next year they're garbage.
Yeah, salt's a nasty.
Eats your car, eats everything. Yeah. It's horrible. It eats your machinery. Yeah. It rusts everything. Yeah. It's funny, like you see people here, like Calgary alone, like people run the Graveleys. It's an old farm equipment, big red thing. Every time you see them, they're like rusty as fuck. Like they look like they're like from the 60s. Yeah. And I always get people ask me why. Like, why don't you just buy a better brush? Like, it's funny because those brushes are one of the most expensive brushes you can buy because they don't make it anymore. And that's why it looks like old farm equipment, because it is old farm equipment. But one thing you probably know about equipment is the older stuff runs better than the newer stuff. And those older ones, they're fucking heavy duty. All the new ones they make are fucking itsy pritsy little fucking things. And we used to have one and it would break down every 5 seconds. We've had these old but when I used to do it, we had these old 2 Gravely brushes since the dawn of time. Like, and they were from an auction, so they were like 50 years old. Yeah. Rusted to shit. We replaced parts. Some of the parts don't even exist anymore. You have to like make it up. And they're brilliant. Everyone uses them. If you see a good snow removal company, that's what they have. Their brushes look like shit. And you're like, why do their fucking brushes look like shit? Because they're literally the best brushes you can buy. Yeah. They don't break down. They push through snow. They're just animals. Yeah. But then you see guys with these nitsy pritzy little brushes and they're like fiddling with it on the side of the road in -30 and you're like, wanker. That's what happens, you know. You think you're spending good money, but you're not. Yeah.
Well, that's all we have time for this week.
Well, that was quick. Snow removal.
Yeah. You got sucked down the snow removal hole.
That's the snow removal lowdown.
There you go. So you learned what brush to buy. Be nice to your snow removal guy.
Yeah, man. Like, especially over Christmas. Like, take him out some hot coffee or, like, tea or just say thank you.
Just generally this Christmas, be awesome to people and, you know what, take some time out.
If you leave your driveway, like, a million times, just be cautious to take the same route. Like, who takes, like, you get to some driveways and it's, like, no snow left. They've just drove away there and you're like, you fucking wanker. Yeah. But, yeah. All right, that's it for this week. Enjoy the snow, Calgary. I'm Lloyd.
I'm JD.
Peace.
See ya.